Not even 24 hours after congressional leaders released a 1,500-page bill that would keep the government funded for the next 3 months, the threat of a shutdown at the end of this week is back. Republicans in Congress are being pressured by the president-elect and vice president-elect to block the bill. On social media, Mr. Trump said Congress should instead pass a streamlined spending bill, and he told Republicans to get smart and tough. Congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins has been following the latest. So, Lisa, 3 days until government funding runs out. What's the deal with this bill? How much jeopardy is this facing?
We joked last night about déjà vu, but I want to tell you that today has been extraordinary, and the stakes here are very high. This bill is now really on the verge. In fact, you can pretty much say this bill is falling apart, and it's being taken off the table by Republicans. Now, I want to explain a little bit about why. There are a host of issues that Republicans don't like in it, that the money for disaster relief is not paid for is one, that it would include some cost of living raises for members of Congress. Also, it would exempt members of Congress from Obamacare. There's also money for seasonal and migrant workers who are here legally, but some Republicans don't like it. But overall, there's a process concern here. They say they weren't consulted. They didn't have enough time. So I'll show you what's been happening today from members of Congress across a wide spectrum of members. Now, if you look at this, Chip Roy, Republican, known as a conservative, he wrote vote no. Nicole Maliotakis from New York, I'll be voting no. She's more moderate. Then we've got Representative Golden of Maine. He will be voting against it. He is a Democrat. So really almost the entire spectrum here saying they had a problem with this bill. It is a political disaster for Speaker Mike Johnson. And another factor here is that Trump is speaking out, but that came after an important figure in the Trump world, Elon Musk, tweeted out that he was against it. So what we're seeing here is a problem for Mike Johnson, but also a case of who is really driving the ship here, not just for Republicans, but of government itself.
These Republicans who came out today and said they wouldn't vote for it, weren't these folks already planning not to vote for this bill to begin with?
No. There were more people who generally would vote for a CR today who said that they won't. And that momentum gathered as things went along.
So what's the path forward such that anyone knows it right now?
Right. Well, Republicans who have a problem today would like 72 hours before they are passing any bill. That's usual procedure, but we have the deadline Friday. So what we expect now is potentially the House Rules Committee, I'm told, may meet tonight. There may be a very small bill that just kicks funding down the road. We don't know for how long. We don't know what it will look like. They don't know what it will look like. But I want to stress why this all matters. It's not just about funding, though obviously that is a lot at stake as we enter Christmas time and Hanukkah. This bill also contained $100 billion in disaster funding. Let's remind people about the hurricanes that hit this country in the last few months. Milton, Helene, we're talking about $200 billion in damage, and it's across agencies, across many states. This bill would have helped with that. There was also some drug price reform in here that members have worked for years to try and get in this bill. That would be off the table. And in general, this is a question, a test for Republicans. Can they govern? And also for Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, came out a short time ago and said he thinks that Republicans are now trying to shut down government. Chances are his votes will be needed in order to keep government funded.
Yeah. Well, as this has been unfolding, there are Republicans in Congress who are accusing the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney of witness tampering. And this is all spelled out in a new report. Bring us up to speed.
Let me explain this. This report came from the House Administration Committee, which is generally handled January 6th for Republicans yesterday, led by Barry Loudermilk. Now, when they put out this report as part of their press release, they really singled out Liz Cheney, and there are 128 pages. They accused her of witness tampering, and they went out of their way to say they think she should be criminally charged. This is a unique set of circumstances. The January 6th committee that Cheney was the vice chair of was passed by Congress. It was a part of Congress. Congress has the right to set its own rules. This is unprecedented. Now, Liz Cheney has fired back in an unequivocal response to this. She said that this report intentionally disregards the truth, fabricates lies, and has defamatory allegations. Jeff, this also raises serious separation of power issues, and there's a question of watch Liz Cheney, because if the Trump administration and his allies target her for prosecution, that's a very serious situation. There's an argument for her to be pardoned, some say.
Yeah, Donald Trump's influence present in this as well. And add to all of that, all of this news that you're tracking, the House Ethics Committee voted to release its report into Matt Gaetz.
Let me take a deep breath because I know all of this is quite a lot to process, but there are sort of some threads that tie it all, which are sort of threads of chaos and questions of institutions working or not working. The House Ethics Committee, reporting from CNN and AP, says that they met secretly and did vote to release that report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz. He is under investigation for sexual misconduct, including potentially with a minor, as well as campaign finance issues and also other inappropriate conduct. So the reporting is that the committee, which meets in secret usually, secretly did vote to release this report, and the expectation is from this reporting that it will come out in coming days after Congress leaves town. But that all links back, of course, to whether Congress can figure out this funding deal. You know, I think they will. It's in everyone's interest to keep government funded, but how messy will it be? And is Speaker Johnson's speakership on the line? I think it is.